We like to believe that we'll never be caught in an emergency, but there are fires and earthquakes, terrorism and explosions, spills and chemical releases that happen throughout the world. Emergencies like these can strike at any time with little warning. This program is designed to show you what to do if you find yourself in an emergency situation, and what to do when an emergency alarm is activated. You will also learn how to respond in specific emergencies, like earthquakes, hazardous material releases, explosions, and fires. You may work in a large office building or in a factory. Perhaps you work in a retail store or a facility with lots of hazardous chemicals. Every facility and each location is different. That's why training and drills are important. They help you learn about the emergency warning system and what to do when an alarm sounds. Your employer can help to prepare you, but you need to do your part. Examine the floor plan and area layout in every area where you work. Learn the primary and secondary exits from each location. Know where fire extinguishers and alarm pull stations are located. Understand what each type of alarm means and what procedures to follow. Know where to report after you leave your workspace. The emergency system may use signs, symbols, alarm stations, or light systems. There may be safety officers or wardens assigned to help people during the emergency. Sometimes you'll have a special role to play, like shutting down equipment before you leave, or assisting employees who need additional help. All these guidelines are part of your facility's emergency action planning and are explained in your training. It's your job to learn all you can about the correct way to react in an emergency. Your life or the lives of your coworkers could depend on it. In any emergency, 4 words describe what you must be prepared to do: rescue, alarm, confine, evacuate. Rescue anyone in immediate danger, but only when it does not put you at risk. Only help a victim when you can do so safely. This worker was trained for this specific type of rescue. Attempting a dangerous rescue without training and proper equipment is likely to add one more person to the victim list: you. Activate your facility's alarm system. This may mean pulling the handle on a fire alarm or setting off an emergency call system. In some situations, you'll use a telephone or intercom system to signal emergency personnel. When talking with an emergency operator, be sure to give your name, location, and the nature of the emergency. Speak slowly and clearly. The information you need to provide should be posted near the telephone or alarm. Confine the emergency if you can. Close all doors, windows, or other openings that would spread a fire or toxic fumes. Shut down the ventilation system. If you work in a laboratory or chemical facility, turn off fume hoods and open flames. Close tank valves on compressed gas cylinders if possible. Oftentimes, specific employees are trained to secure or shut down systems and equipment. Some employees will learn to use fire extinguishers, rescue equipment, and other emergency safety devices. Unless you are assigned and trained to perform one of these functions, your job is to evacuate. Leave the area by your designated evacuation route. Move calmly and quickly. Do not run. Don't take time to gather your belongings. They're not worth your life. Follow instructions given by the emergency warden. If there is no warden, follow your training. Go to your designated assembly point or refuge where a head count can be made. Because most exit routes include various halls and stairways, it is important that these areas remain clear. Never store anything in hallways or stairwells, or take any action that would block or lock off an exit route. If you're in a multi-story building, go immediately to your assigned area of refuge. Also, remember that you must never use an elevator to evacuate. If the power supply is cut off, you could be trapped. If there are handicapped or injured people, help them leave the area if you can. Make sure that deaf or hearing impaired people know about the emergency. However, never try to maneuver a wheelchair up or down the stairs. Ask the disabled person what would be the best way for you to help. Often there are people who are trained to carry or assist employees who need additional help. If it is necessary to leave someone in the building, avoid danger zones. A stairwell, for example, can be one of the safer places to be in a fire, since stairwells that are designated exit routes have exit lighting, concrete floors, and are protected by fire-safe doors. Learning to assist employees who may need additional help is part of your facility's emergency planning. That makes your participation in training and drills important. As you leave your area, make sure everyone is out. Take a few seconds, no longer, to check bathrooms, storage rooms, and other areas. In many cases, this is done by trained emergency evacuation wardens. Your goal is to gather employees who might not know about the alarm. When you're sure everyone is out, close the door as you leave, but don't lock it. A closed door tells emergency personnel that everyone has left and can slow the spread of smoke and toxic fumes. As you exit, use the back of your hand and forearm to feel the lower, middle, and upper part of doors before you open them. Never open a door that is hot. There's probably fire on the other side. Instead, exit by the alternate route shown on the floor plan. If there is smoke, stay low to the ground where the best air is likely to be. A damp cloth over your mouth and nose can help. If there are chemical vapors and/or smoke, stay low or high depending on whether the vapors rise or sink to the floor. Your knowledge about chemicals can save time and lives in an emergency. No matter what happens, always do your best to stay calm. Panic may lead to other accidents. Being calm reassures other employees and helps your performance. If you should become trapped in an area, close all doors and openings. To keep out smoke, close the windows, block the space below all doors, and shut down air conditioning and ventilation systems. Telephone for help if you can. Give your exact floor and room number. A locator number should be posted near the alarm or emergency phone. This tells rescuers where you are. You can also signal at a window to show emergency crews your location. But don't panic and don't break out a window. Instead, wait for help to arrive. In some cases, your evacuation will be to another area of the building or facility. If you live in an area where earthquakes occur, you need to be ready to protect yourself from falling objects. Then be ready to evacuate once the vibration and shaking stop. If the earthquake alarm sounds, or if you feel an earthquake, get as close to the floor as you can and head for cover. During an earthquake, avoid windows, light fixtures, bookcases, lockers, and anything else that could fall on you. Get under a heavy desk, table, or chair, or under a door jamb. Crouch against an inside wall with your back toward any windows. Assume the drop and cover position to protect yourself. To do this, drop to your knees, clasp both hands behind your neck, bury your face in your arms, and make your body as small as possible. Close your eyes and cover your ears with your forearms. If protection like a coat is available, use it to cover yourself. The most dangerous thing to do during an earthquake is to try to leave the building. Remain where you are until the earthquake's vibration stops. Don't be surprised if the sprinkler system or various alarms are activated. Shelving and partitions may fall and wiring may spark. After the movements and the shaking end, evacuate to your designated safe area outside. If you work in a multi-story workplace, you may be told to wait until exit routes are inspected. Your training will show the safest procedure for your workplace. When you evacuate, use the stairs, not the elevators. Stay away from exterior building walls and avoid wires or power lines, including TV cables. Don't step in pools of water. They could be electrically charged. If you need light, use flashlights. Don't light matches or flip light switches. A spark could cause an explosion if gas or flammable vapors are present. Once you get to your designated assembly point, report immediately for the roll call. Search teams will begin looking for you if you fail to report. Never re-enter the building until you are told it is safe. Aftershocks and loose materials can create many unseen hazards. Even if you see others going back into a building, wait until officials have inspected and say it is safe to return. If you are outside when an earthquake hits, the same rules apply. Protect yourself from falling debris and assume the drop and cover position until the vibrations stop. Stay away from buildings and trees, telephone and electrical lines. Don't get under overpasses, ramps, or equipment that could fall on you. If you're in a refinery or facility with liquid or gas pipelines, seek cover as far from these as possible. If you work in a facility with hazardous materials, knowing how to evacuate safely can save your life. You should learn all you can about the substances on site and appropriate emergency procedures. In some cases, you'll need an escape pack respirator. This pack contains a small mask that provides about 5 minutes of breathable air, enough to get out of a hazardous area. If you discover a chemical emergency, immediately warn nearby employees. If you have an escape pack or other protective gear, put it on. Move upwind or crosswind to a safe area. Try not to inhale vapors, gases, fumes, or smoke as you leave. And stay away from ditches, basements, and other low places where vapors may collect. If there is a spill or leak, avoid getting the substance on you. Escape upwind by covering your nose and mouth with a cloth. Once you're away from the contaminated area, proceed immediately to your assigned assembly point for roll call. If someone is overcome, try to move or drag the victim to a safe location, but never enter or re-enter a contaminated area to rescue someone. Unless you have full protective gear, you're likely to become a victim yourself. And remember, using an escape pack to attempt rescue is like committing suicide. In some chemical emergencies, you will be asked to shelter in place. This means you should stay inside a building until the emergency is over. If this happens, you should try to seal the building so contaminants cannot enter. Close windows and doors. Seal gaps with wet cloths and duct tape. Shut down air intakes and ventilation. Then move to the area farthest from the emergency and wait for the all clear. Remember, chemical exposure can be very serious and can often require treatment beyond simple first aid. If you're exposed, tell officials at the assembly point, even if you feel fine. Some chemical injuries don't show up until later. If you are told to evacuate because of a bomb or explosion, do so as quickly and calmly as possible. Stay away from windows and other areas that can shatter or fall on you. If debris is falling, get under a sturdy table or desk until it stops. Or look for something you can use to protect yourself. A coat, a chair pad, or even an empty drawer can help protect you if you hold it over your head. In a fire, stay low to the floor as you exit. Remember, heavy smoke and many poisonous gases collect first along the ceiling. You will breathe easier if you stay as close to the floor as you can. As soon as you get out of the building, go to your assigned assembly point for roll call. If you are trapped by debris, try to avoid stirring up dust. Cover your mouth with a clean rag or your clothing. Tap on a pipe or wall so rescuers can hear where you are. You can use a whistle if you have one. Shout only as a last resort. Shouting can make you inhale dangerous amounts of dust. Never try to rescue people inside a collapsed building. It takes special equipment and skill that only emergency responders have. When an emergency alarm sounds, thorough preparation, training, and drills can save your life. To be prepared, remember, know the floor plan, layout, and exits in every area where you work. Know where fire extinguishers and alarm stations are located. Understand what each type of alarm means and what you should do. Know where to report after you evacuate. With this knowledge, you can be ready to act quickly and calmly in any emergency, whether it's a drill or the real thing. Don't become a fatality. Through preparation, you can survive.